Hi KMS students. This project is going to be facial proportions in preparation for your comic book superhero drawings. This is one I did a couple years ago, and so this isn't the full comic book cover, but it's a rendition of me as a superhero. My kids and I did it as a family activity one night a couple years ago, so that was kind of fun. So we're going to talk about facial proportions and how to get that set up for you. So first thing that we're going to do is draw the actual face shape. So I'm just going to start with a basic oval. And one little trick I'll share is that when you're trying to draw an oval or circle, make the shape with move your whole arm, not just your fingers or your knuckles, but your whole arm in that shape. And then slowly put your pencil down on the paper. And that should give you, and it takes some practice, so it's not going to come right away, but it should give you kind of a basic oval shape. So I'm going to kind of keep this outer area. Of course, I didn't get myself an eraser out, so let me see if I can find one of my little toolkit. And I just knocked my camera, so you're going to get a little dizzy too. And I can't find one in there. All my art supplies and I can't find my eraser. Okay. Anywho, oh, it's hiding. Okay, so I'm gonna take out some of this. There's extra stuff here. Okay, so first thing that we want to do is we want to divide this in half, and the halfway point gives us our face or eyes. Okay, so if I kind of pull this picture of my daughter, if I divide her head in half, that's where her eyes are. Okay, and also considering that the top of her head's like up here, but her eyes are halfway down her face. Okay, and then we can also look and see that her nose, the bottom edge of her nose, is halfway between her eyes and her chin, and then her mouth is about halfway between the bottom of the nose and the chin. Okay, obviously these are going to adjust slightly for different people and different characteristics that those people have, but in general, that's where all of your facial features lie on your face. Okay, so we'll go with that, those proportions. So we need a halfway point from top to bottom, and then a halfway point in the middle here, so we know where the nose lays and all of that fun stuff. So fun thing about eyes, if we kind of take this measurement here and we give ourselves the eye measurement, maybe I better go closer here, but measurement of our eye, an eye fits between each eye, and then an eye fits between this edge and this edge of your face. So technically we can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes across our face. So that gives us a good estimate of, how big our eyes should be. So this dimension, or this proportion should be the same here to here to here. I'm a little bit, I think I went from here. Okay, so this is an eye width, this is an eye width, this is an eye width, all the way across, so that we have enough space. A common mistake is that people make their eyes way too big, or they make them way too small. So we want to get a good balance between the two. Okay, so this is the corners of our eye here. Okay, and then we're going to kind of pencil in where our nose is, so halfway between here and here. So we're going to kind of come right about here. That's the tip of our nose. Okay, and then our mouth generally is either halfway or 2/3 of the way up from the base from your chin. Okay, we're actually going to kind of modify this chin a little bit and cut some of this bulk out so that you have more of a jaw. So I'm going to take that out now so you can kind of see that coming together. And that all depends on what your chin and your jawline look. Okay, in this picture, my daughter has a pretty defined chin, kind of rounded, and then it kind of cuts in where her cheeks kind of pudge out a little bit. This is like, what is this? How old is she in this one? She's 5 or 6, I think, in that one. So she's 11 now. Okay, so we kind of have these things penciled in. So we're gonna go from here and we're gonna add in more of the details. So I'm gonna pencil in my eyes. And eyes are kind of an almond or football shape. And I like to go back and forth between my eyes. So I'm making the same type of line, okay? And then you don't get stuck drawing all of one eye and realizing, oh my goodness, I can't draw that again. I don't remember how I did the top edge and the bottom edge, okay? All right, so then the inner part of the eye is that circle, your iris and your pupil, okay? So if we look again to this photograph, we see that there's white on the inner side and the outer, a little tiny bit on the outer edge, but we don't see any white on the top or bottom of the iris. And the same happens over here. A lot of times people will draw the iris in the middle of the eye and have all that white area, and it looks like your eyes are really wide open and you're surprised, which if we're just sitting here, we're not gonna have that surprise look. We're gonna, we're just looking ahead, then we're gonna see, part of that circle's covered up here. So sometimes I'll draw the whole circle and I'll just erase the top and I can't see. Okay, so we have the eyelid going over top of that top edge. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And the bottom of that circle is touching just down here, okay? So I think I kind of goofed my top edge of this lineup, and it doesn't have as much of an arch. So I'm gonna come back in. There we go. Okay, so then I can go in and I can do the pupil. So the pupil is in the center of this circle, so it's gonna be touching the top a little bit. Same thing over here. I'm gonna draw back and forth, okay? And then if I notice that I messed up on something, like I put this way too far over, then I'm gonna adjust that, okay? And then often we have like a little light reflection, so I'm gonna leave a little circle there. That way I can fill in. I always think it looks very creepy when you don't fill in the pupil, because it looks kind of like, almost like zombie-ish. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit more personality into my eye, so I'm gonna darken up the outer ring a little bit of the eye, the colored part of the iris. And then I'm gonna go with a kind of a zigzag, lighter motion on the outer edge to signify the color in the eye. Okay, so now I have some eyes, and I'm gonna pencil in a little bit of the eyelid. Now you can look at your eyelid. Everybody's eyelids look a little different. I always use the example of my sister. My sister's eyelids are really, she has very squinty eyes, so they're always very close to her top edge of her eye. And then mine are a little bit wider, so I have bigger eyes than my sister does, okay? And then there's often a little tear duct that you can see here. So I always just put that little, kind of like a little U on the edge there, okay? So before we go any further with these details, let's add in the nose, okay? So the nose is tricky because the nose is shadowed. It's not really a line, but we're gonna have to pencil in a line so we can show. So we've got nostrils, and then we have the bridge of the nose, kind of like here, the little attachment here, and then we have the outer edge of the nostrils that we want to pencil in, okay? So we've got eyelids, we've got the eyes, and then we're gonna go in here and we're gonna add this little line for the nose, okay? So right at that halfway mark that we made, I'm gonna draw kind of a C. And one thing we want to focus on here in getting proportions is that the nose, the edge of the nose, so where the nostrils attach, if I were to draw a straight line up, look where it touches to the corner of the eye. Okay, that goes straight up and it goes to the corner of the eye on both sides. So now we have a way to gauge where or how wide our nose should be, okay? So if I draw, almost like it's crying, a little line down from the tear duct, the corner of the eye, I know how wide my nose is. So this is the center of the nose, right here. And then we're gonna draw an N on either side of that. So it's like a U, a wide U, and then narrow ends. And then we know that our nostrils come and touch that very outer edge here. Okay, so then we have, I'm gonna kind of lighten this line up a little bit. It's a pretty dark line, and I really don't want it that dark, so it makes my nose stand out too much. Okay, so I'm gonna fill in the nostrils, and then sometimes I'll like kind of hint at the bridge or the ball of the nose. And then our whole nose isn't that wide. right about here where these nostrils are, it has a little shadow. So we can always add in a little bit of a shadow. And if you're using pencil, a really nice way to just kind of smooth that shadow out. So I left a gap in the middle, like a white highlight in the middle, and then I just shaded. And I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of smooth that out. Okay, so now I have a nice nose to go off of, okay? So then we hit the lips, or the mouth. So if we look at the mouth and where the proportion is for this, the corner of the mouth is about the center of the eye, okay? And then something I like to point out with the mouth, oftentimes people think that looks way too big when they draw it on their paper, but that's because they make the mouth really wide all the way to the edge, but notice it gets skinnier towards the edge, it tapers. So we're gonna create that taper. So at the center of the lips, we have this little divot, and some people have a deeper one than others. We have a little divot, so kind of that U, wide U again. And then I'm gonna draw myself a reference point. So the center of the eye down, and I'm gonna make a little dot, like a dimple, okay? So that's how wide my mouth is. So I'm gonna go up, and I'm gonna back down where that little divot is. So I know how long. This one looks a little big for me, so I'm gonna take that one out, I'm gonna redraw it. Let's take a little practice, okay? And then that comes across, and then usually there's a little bump here, comes across, and then it tapers here. So we're not gonna start here and make a big lip. We're gonna start here, and then we're gonna make our lip tapering in, okay? And it really helps to look at your lips in the mirror as you're drawing this, so that you can notice, you know, okay, my top lip is smaller, my bottom lip is bigger. And then with lips are not a line, but they're a shade. They're a darker color than our skin tone. So what I like to do is just give it a shade so that it's not an outline anymore, but it's more of a shadow. So I'm gonna darken the line in between, kind of that's where the shadow is. And then from here, it's dark, dark to light, okay? Now, if I wanted to adjust this a little bit, maybe instead of being so stoic, I wanted my person to kind of have a little bit of a smile. All I need to do is kind of turn that a little bit at the end up, and I've got a smile, okay? So some last minute details would be eyelashes. So eyelashes start from the eyelid, and then they come out and up, out and up, out and up, out and up. And they vary in thickness and length. And you'll notice these go out this way, and then from the halfway point they curve in this way. And then the same thing happens down here. They curve out this way, and then they gradually curve over this way. And those get shorter towards the center and longer towards the middle, and they usually kind of break and are shorter here too. So same thing over here, curving out and then up, and then these are gonna go this way, gradually coming this way. A common mistake is that people draw their eyes and they straight eyelashes. So it looks like we're surprised, okay? Ears are usually attached here, and you can draw a line from your eye straight back on your own face, and that's where your attachment for your ear is. And then same thing on the bottom of your ear, you can go straight across, and usually it's between your nose and your mouth. So somewhere around here, mine kind of feels like right here. So I'm gonna draw like a tight half circle to show where my ear is. And the same thing over here. Now you may or may not see your ear depending on your hair. My hair right now is in quarantine state, and it is pretty long on the side, so you'd be surprised. So my hair, if I were drawing it, would come all the way down here now instead of being over my ear like normal. Okay, so then you're gonna kind of shape your hairstyle in and around that. So notice this is the head, that's my scalp. So my hair has volume and it's coming up out of my scalp and then falling on my head here. Same thing over here. It's coming down, has some volume there. Okay, now if you had longer hair, then obviously this would come down further. If you have shorter hair than that even, then you would shorten these up and your lines would be much shorter. So it just depends on your hairstyle. Maybe you have a hat on, your superhero has a hat on. Maybe they have, like in my case, I put like a little headband on. The only stipulation is that we need to see your face. So don't put a mask on, but you could put something down almost to your eyes or something like that. Okay, we're missing something on here still. I noticed as I pulled that over, I'm missing eyebrows. So eyebrows are coming up from the nose. This is your brow bone and coming over your eye. That makes it look so much better. And add the eyebrows in. Funny story, my dad actually has alopecia. Alopecia is a condition where he has no hair and he has no eyebrows and he has no eyelashes. So sometimes I draw and I forget to put those eyebrows in and I'm like, it looks like somebody, oh, it looks like my dad because he doesn't have any eyebrows. So kind of a funny little note about my family there. And I can add a little bit of shadow because your eyes are actually sunken in, so that kind of starts adding in some of the dimension. Even adding shadows like where your cheekbone is helpful. Rub it out so it doesn't look like you have a beard. Same thing over here. So it starts contouring your face a little bit. Those are extras, okay? That gives you a little bit of a sense of proportions for the face, and this will go on your body proportions from the handout that I sent you or linked in our menu for this week. But I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And if you cartoonize these a little bit, as long as you're considering proportion in your design as you're working, you're good to go. So have some fun with this, make it look kind of comic-y. I exaggerated my eyes a little bit, so that was fun, and I exaggerated the size of my mouth. I made it much smaller than it normally would be. So playing around with proportions is pretty fun and it adds another element to your designs. So I hope you guys enjoy this and I hope it was helpful. Can't wait to see your superheroes. Have fun.